Chapter. We're ready for a train ride.
Thank you, guys. Conductor number 1 and 2. Untitled Chapter. Going south. Here we go.
Highball means it's safe to move. You should hear 3 sounds of the whistle to indicate backward, train movement, 3 sounds of the whistle. We're going to be going about 2.5 miles to the south and east of Belton, and then we will, on the same path, return to where your car is parked. Now, as we exit the community, I want to share with you, we do need you to be cautious of the windows. The windows are very heavy. If one came down, there would be an injury, for sure. So be very careful. Keep arms, hands, legs, right big toes, left pinkies, elbows, and any other body part inside the train. Okay. The other rule we have is that we are not allowed to go from one train car to the other when the train is moving. But when the train stops, I'm going to interrupt. Here's the 1632 steam engine. When we are stopped, we will give you a chance to move, and then you can ride on the outdoor car if you would like to do that. Okay. My name is Edie. I'm your car host, and your ineffective ticket agent who couldn't quite seem to get the computer to do what I wanted it to do. So anyway, thank goodness somebody smarter than me was here to help out. We're going to be, as we leave the community of Belton, Main Street is 1 block over. The original Main Street. If there are people who live here, they might try to tell you that Main Street is 58 Highway. There's a lot on 58 Highway, but that truly is not our Main Street. Belton was incorporated in 1872. And the tracks you are riding on had their beginning approximately the same time. I believe it was in the 1860s that they were building track. And the city of Belton grew up around the train tracks. All right, very quickly look to either side of the train and you will see a 20th century crossing. Middle of the 20th century. And if you look and listen, you will hear okay, this is a approximately 1950s crossing. And it has a metal clanger inside a metal bell. And it has a regular light bulb, just an incandescent bulb, behind a red lens. That was the way that the signals were done at that time. Down the track, we will have a new signal that is a 21st century signal, and that particular one is a very modern approach. It's about 10 years old. It has a digital bell, and it has LED lights on the head of the lamp. So I'll point that out to you when we get closer. Right now we're passing Belton Memorial Park. And this is in honor of, it's named Memorial because it honors those who have served our country in various ways. It looks new because it was remodeled in the last 10 years. It looks old because it truly is. This has been around since around 1900. At one time, it was the Cass County Fairgrounds. The pool is closed for the summer. Excuse me. It's not a pool, it's a water park. And the water park is closed for the summer. If you want a pool, you'll have to go across Highway 71 to High Blue Wellness Center. And it is open most of the year except when they're doing maintenance. And so if you want a pool, a regular complete pool, that one is available most of the year. It also has a slide and a basketball thing and areas for the children to get into the water easily. So our community is fortunate to have the support for us to have a lot of things for families. We are going around a curve. And that's why you hear all the screeching sound. The curve is when you take a heavy object that has metal wheels with no insulation, and you take it around a straight rail and make it go in a curve, you end up with the kind of noises that you're hearing now. Okay, I'm seeing, and I'm trying to decide if I'm seeing butterflies or not. The monarch butterflies have their migration, and some years we see dozens of them, probably hundreds. Are you seeing some there? Okay.
They're all over the place over here.
Okay, great. Well, you guys might have lucked out with one of the best days for butterflies. The train disturbs them. They tend to roost in the trees. They look like a dead leaf hanging there, and it ends up that after we disturb them, they fly. And so it's amazing on the days that, those are definitely monarchs. You guys have come on a good day. Not only do you have beautiful weather, but the monarchs are flitting around. Generally, they're here for a couple of weeks, but we never know. And the population has been down the last few years. Their habitat, their food supplies have been limited, so it's been harder to catch up with them. All right, you came to hear about trains, not butterflies, and not parks, so I'll try to shift gears. This kind lady waves at us many, many times as we go by. Looks like she has a guest today. All right. And she's very kind to come out and see us each day. Our group is Smoky Hill Railway and Historical Society. And I'm far enough away from everybody that I'm cheating with my mask here because you can hear me better without it. The group Smoky Hill Railway owns the property and all of the rolling stock. We do business under the name Belton, Grandview, and Kansas City Railroad Company, which is a very long name and doesn't really identify correct things. But anyhow, those are our identifiers. We are open May through October, and last 3 weekends of October this year, we'll have the train decorated for Halloween, and we will have items available, some little trinkets for the kids, and we probably will have some sort of a candy for the kids in addition to our regular train ride. So those will be coming up the last 3 October weekends. We have not done ice cream trains this year because of COVID. We have not opened our gift shop last season or this one for the same reason. Also, we have pretty much decided that our Santa train is probably not going to run this year. If it does, you'll find that on our website in the first, probably about 10 days into November.
Boo.
But as of this moment, the intent is to take care of Santa, to take care of children, and to not do the Santa train. And we're sad about it, but we've all had to do things that we weren't especially thrilled about. So that might be one of them. Okay, back to our train. We operate at about 9 miles an hour, which is considered to be yard limits. And the yard limits are a safe operating speed. We operate on tracks that we maintain ourselves for the most part. Now, about 3 years ago, we had some professionals that we hired on a contract basis. That one cost us $45,000. If we simply buy a tie to put in ourselves, it's $55 just for the wooden tie. That's not any new spikes, it's not anything else, it's just the tie. So we try very hard to make sure that the track is safe, and we have other activities that we would like to do, like paint the outside of the coach, and perhaps work on the wooden car behind me. But we always do what's going to be safest as far as our customers and for our train ride. Then if we have time and money, then we do things like reupholster seats. The seats that are navy blue are ones that have been redone by our volunteers. All of the armrests on the coach were done by an older gentleman. He's no longer able to volunteer with us, but he had a walnut tree in his yard, and he created with loving hands all of these armrests that are in the coach. The coach was built in 1920, and if you do the math really quickly, our coach is 101 years old. 101. And still going strong. The floor is concrete. Don't look at the dust. The windows we would love to replace, but we have not been able to find anyone to do the work to replace them. And if anybody knows of a source, we'd love to hear about it. Okay, we're at that new crossing, folks. Look to the left, look to the right, and listen carefully.
To replace the windows in here.
Do you hear the softer sound on this one? Much different. And the lights have little dots of light, LED lights. Little dots of LED lights. All right, we just passed Man's Best Friend, and we're coming to Lillig Construction Company. Man's Best Friend is a dog boarding and obedience center. So if you have an animal who needs to have some new training, then that will be a good thing. Okay, we are definitely seeing butterflies, for sure. If I had known it was going to be that way, we would have started outside. Okay, our group is an all-volunteer group. No one who's here today gets a paycheck. I mentioned the $45,000. That was a contracting company that came and did things. But all of our day-to-day operations are done by volunteers. So hopefully you brought along your smiles, because that's how they get paid. And so let them know that you appreciate their efforts. Our engineer today is Mr. Bell. I am Edie. I'm your car host today. And at the back of the train we have Matt and we have Tom, are two people at the back of the train conducting activities. Now, they're watching for our safety. They're watching to make sure that if a tree has fallen, that we don't derail the train. The engineer is way up in the cab, so he's doing his operations there, and the train can go just as fast backwards as it can forwards. So he's waiting for any kind of information from them. We might have a deer standing in the middle of the track. Sometimes we have foxes that run alongside the rail. All kinds of activities. Some of those are going away because Belton is adding some new housing and things like that out this area. I used to show you the wheat fields and corn fields. That, of course, is not necessarily the case when they're putting in blacktop and new duplexes. But anyway, progress happens whether we want it or not. Now, the train is going to come to a stop fairly shortly, so don't be alarmed when it does that. The coach, like I was telling you, is 101 years old. It's a Pullman Coach, built by the Pullman Company. This coach was originally a commuter coach in the New York City area. Folks in New York would board this train in New Jersey area, and they would go into the city and work their jobs or go to the Broadway shows or whatever they were doing. And then at the end of the day or the event, they would return back to their homes in New Jersey. There were two cars that operated together. The two cars had a conductor that operated, and you could call the conductor by using some cabling system. You can still see the eyelets up here at the top where those cables would have run. Okay, we also are in a movie star. Notice I said in a movie star. The Movie Biloxi Blues had a train coach with actors who were supposed to be in the Army. And this coach was the one they used for that film. Now, when you pulled in, you might have noticed on this side especially, the car is very, very faded. It's orange and red because it was the Lackawanna red-orange. When the Hollywood folks came to Belton and they wanted their Army coach, they used rollers and painted the car with Army green paint. So it's not truly a railroad color, and it certainly is in bad shape. You know that money I told you we had to pay the contractor? We were hoping to paint the coach. That didn't happen. We ended up putting new things under our rails so that we would have a good train ride. All right, I think we might have one other person in the cab of the train. It might be Bill, because it kind of feels like maybe we've got somebody training up there. All right, the train has come to a stop, and I have not shared anything about the car at the very back. The very back train car is where our conductor was working. It was a Missouri Pacific car, and I've got a question for the boys and girls. I bet some of them know the name. What is the name of that car at the back of the train? I'll count to three and you help me out. 1, 2, 3, it's a...
Caboose.
Okay. Let's see if we can put some enthusiasm into that. 1, 2, 3, it's a...
Caboose.
Ah, much better. Much better. Okay. Now, some of you asked about riding outside. So I'm thinking that perhaps this might be an opportunity. Now let me tell you ahead of time. You're going to be seated at picnic tables, and they are wooden. They're out in the open all of the time. So, if you decide to go out there, and that's fine if you do, find the place you want to sit, but please don't scooch, okay? Because wood tables, especially old ones, can have splinters, and you don't want to take that home. You don't want that kind of situation. So, as you go from here outside, there are 3 little steps. There's one right here at the door, there's another at the threshold to the open air car, and there's another step down onto the open air car. So, there are 3 places. They're little bitty, but they're the kind that can throw you. So, about the first half of the group of people come. If you want to go outside to sit, this would be your time to make your move. You can leave things here in the coach if you wish. It's up to you. And you can come back in and get them after. Now, once you go out, you cannot come back in. It's a commitment. because the FRA won't let us have our customers go back and forth, okay? So
Okay, you guys can get out
if you want to go outside to sit out there, this would be a good time to make that move.